Keano Vafayan was 26 years old when he received medical assistance in dying in BC on December 30th.
He said everything the doctors needed to hear in order to approve him. Was he actually feeling that way? I strongly believe not.
I guarantee you, no one's looked into this yet, but you are going to find people being incentivized because they need to prove the success of their program. I was born in Detroit but raised in Canada. I have been saying for years that Canada's existence is the greatest proof that the United States is not an evil empire. And Canada's not a real country. You know, what do I mean by that? It really kind of in a technical sense, because they simply bowed down for royalty. They didn't fight the same kind of revolution that we did. And they're entirely subsidized, really, by the United States. If they had to defend themselves, it's not possible. So it's an act of mercy from us. Canada has been playing country. Here's where it gets a little sticky. They're now deciding to play evil country, because you've heard numbers as high as 5% of the deaths in Canada, I believe last year, were the result of euthanasia, or as leftists refer to it, progress. Now, you may be thinking, okay, it's a 92-year-old who's sick, who's on life support.
Cancer, maybe?
Maybe cancer. And, you know, with socialized healthcare, hey, you just got to make some decisions. Like the death panels that the left said didn't exist, but they actually do exist in every country that has socialized healthcare. You probably aren't thinking of a 26-year-old with not cancer, not AIDS, not MS, seasonal depression, killed.
Keano Vafayan was 26 years old when he received medical assistance in dying in BC on December 30th. His family says he lived with type 1 diabetes and partial vision loss, but they say his biggest struggle was his mental health, which they believe should have made him ineligible for MAiD.
He said everything the doctors needed to hear in order to approve him. Was he actually feeling that way? I strongly believe not.
He didn't have the items that were necessary to qualify him for MAiD, and quite frankly,
stepfather, I was
the medical
wondering.
system failed him.
Yeah. They found out about 4 days after their 26-year-old was killed. And I would say murdered, and I'll qualify that. First off, this is why you're seeing, I believe the new stats came out that people with college degrees, particularly young men with college degrees, men who are successful, they're actually more likely to be practicing Christians now. It used to be the opposite, right? We just thought that because we looked to Europe, atheism spreads, and with intelligentsia, academia, people are going to become more godless. Now people have seen the results, and this goes back to the foundational framework. When I was younger, it used to be Christopher Hitchens and Dawkins debating people, and they would talk about how they didn't need to get their morality from, or base it on God or any type of principles beyond really what could be defined secularly. You're saying this now. How do you argue that you can't do that? They said he could have just been saying what they needed to hear in order to kill him. How do you argue against euthanasia? Because these are the complications you will run into. You have to argue against it on principle on the outset. Well, we don't do that. Why? Because we're not allowed to end our own lives. That's our culture. That's a Christian worldview. That's how our country was founded. On that worldview, on those principles. It defines us. Once you remove that, if someone wants it, well, you know what? Maybe it's more humane. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you get to a situation, well, how do you know that he's telling the truth? We shouldn't find ourselves there. And it's even worse than that, because Johnny Boy, we talked about this. He has a relative, I can't remember, or a friend in Canada, whose mother or grandmother has cancer and is doing pretty well. And I might be butchering the story, but it's an older person who's in his, circle who has cancer, but doing okay with treatment. The MAiD program, overseen by Health Canada, they call weekly.
Oh my God.
They call weekly to say, are you sure? How are you feeling? Have you considered this option?
Wow.
It's like a sales team.
Yeah. It's worse than a salesman. It's worse than extended warranty calls.
Yes.
I don't get those once a week.
It's like a sales team that works on commission, and I'm willing to bet, just like police officers, the reason that you get pulled over for tickets and violent criminals go free is because you get more bang for your buck if you have to meet a quota and you have to have a certain number of civilian interactions. It's faster to dole out a speeding ticket. And so I guarantee you, no one's looked into this yet, but you are going to find people being incentivized because they need to prove the success of their program. They are calling weekly. That's anecdotal. Check the references. Here is the statistical reality. In February of 2026, unsolicited MAiD offers were so common that some Canadian MPs have now proposed a law to ban unsolicited offers to kill you. Think of that phrase, to ban unsolicited offers to kill you. You need a law? You need a law for that, Canada?
What are they, competitively priced?
You evil people?
Yeah, I still don't think I get it. Like, what even is a Rumble wallet?
I mean, I know it's practical, but I just found out what POGs meant.
Oh, PWG.
Just used it. Booked you for a private event, Josh.
What?
Yeah, check it.
Wait. No. No.
Oh, yeah.
I do not do bar mitzvah.
Those are the rules.
That famously I don't.
If you sign up and they can
Yes.
tip you as a creator, you have to take
That's the rule.
Yes, it is.
So I have to do it.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not subject.
Yeah, well, you
My
are.
name's on the side.
It doesn't matter.
Jews aren't fans.
You're going to do it. It's going to be great for both of you guys. You're going to love it. Thanks, guys.
You know, broadcasters, Gerald, we're not party.
It'd be great for nobody.
And I said with all the questions, the who, the what, the why.
No, why's on third.
Oh, I forgot. I should have known. And why? His father's a doctor.
Don't be such a... Hey, eat your matzo ball soup, huh?
That's right.
Keep it to yourself. Hey!
Told you this crowd, they're tough.
No, Tough plays outfield.
That one. Download the Rumble wallet and step away from the big banking and the checking for good. No fees, no middlemen, no banks to freeze your account. Plus, it's the best way to support the creators. You love your creators, right? Download today at wallet.rumble.com. It used to be, right? A philosophical question. Okay, well, who's to say that if we say socialized healthcare and this person's going to die in the next couple of months anyway? Right, we used to have this discussion, this debate. Who's to say that you can't scale that back? People go, oh, come on now, you're straw manning it. You've now executed, effectively, a 26-year-old who maybe didn't get enough sunlight, who maybe didn't have the greatest social circle. The good thing about seasonal depression, the good thing about depression in general, is that it can be cyclical, and there are plenty of people who have gotten better. Well, he never got that chance. Unsolicited offers? You now need to propose a law. It is such a problem to say, well, look, all right, we can kill old people because they want to, and young people too if they really want to, but we really probably shouldn't have our government-funded department upselling people to death. The Cadillac healthcare plan.
Call the next 5 minutes, you get a free coffin.
Yeah.
Save your family the trouble and expense.
And by the way, this is also documented by the Canadian Veterans Affairs. It's sad that it comes from them. I can imagine why, that there have been many cases of unsolicited MAiD offers to veterans to kill themselves. There's a way to honor your heroes, and they'll get mad that I make a joke about Canada's Air Force basically being a prop plane with a .22 rifle. Yeah, how about that's not as disrespectful as killing them?
Well, they're offering them, two folded flags at their service.
Yeah. So. Canada doesn't get to be a country anymore.
No.
Unless they ban it, not just tariffs. I'm not joking. Potential military intervention to free Alberta. It's one thing to play country and to blame the United States. It's another to now decide that you're going to pretend to be an evil country. Anyone want to argue that this is anything other than evil? Comment below, let me know. And I know we'll hear some libertarians, fine. That's not an argument that convinces me.
No.
There's other context that makes it even more evil, too. If you think about this in the United States, if we had a program like this in the United States, and people were allowed to euthanize themselves, the incentive to euthanize people would be way less because it is profit-based. Mm-hmm. Medical system.
Yeah, you want
it's a social based, or what's it called?
Socialized healthcare.
Socialized healthcare up there. So the government's paid for it. The government saves money if they don't have to treat your cancer.
Right.
Yep. The government saves money if they don't have to give you, depression pills, SSRIs. The government saves money if they don't have to worry about your blind eye or whatever.
We had an argument. Do you guys remember this in this country? A national debate. I think it stemmed from Sarah Palin. It may have been John McCain. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. The term death panels.
Yeah.
This is when the Republicans were opposing some form of socialized healthcare, single payer.
I don't know what that is.
Death panels. And what they meant is you would sit before a panel. They were saying basically a panel of people who determine if you are worthy of the care since it is state funded and if it's within the budget. The left said that's a scare tactic. Of course, there's no such thing. There's never been such thing as death panels. Well, they're not called death panels, but here we are, not just death panels, sales teams to call you at your house. Let me walk you through this. Imagine you're a little bit depressed. Maybe you're not doing all that well. I don't know, maybe you came back from war like one of these veterans. Maybe you lost a leg. Maybe you're shell-shocked and you're trying to get through it, and maybe you're going to therapy or maybe you're going to church, and you look into the face of your kids, and as we see with a lot of people who have depression, a sense of purpose is actually far more valuable than therapy or a lot of medical interventions. I'm not saying it's the only one. And you go, you know what? Maybe it's not about me. Maybe they need me. Maybe ring for a special discount. That's not a straw man. That's happening. Canada doesn't get to be Canada anymore.
I get weekly or bi-weekly emails from the VA. And in there, they try to encourage me to, join their programs. Go, hey, make an appointment. Did you make an appointment? Do you need to, check your prescriptions?
Want some pills?
Need a job? Yeah, all these things. Yeah, how's your PTSD? You need some therapy?
Yeah.
They offer all these things. That's now going through their emails. I'm sure they have weekly emails or bi-weekly emails to send out to their veterans who fought in the same war I did, by the way.
Yeah.
Side by side. Now they're getting emails. Hey, is it all too much?
You know what? Actually,
give us a call.
Anyone in Canada, let's put up the tip line for Mug Club Undercover. If you're in Canada and you have more information on this, or you'd be willing to maybe go through the system and see if you're approved.
Yeah, Canadian veterans, please speak up.
LWC tips at protonmail.com. We will protect our sources with our lives. And please, look, if you are, and I know we have a lot of people watching in Canada, don't be led astray by this. Yeah. And I'm not going to do some silly, it gets better. You know what? Let me tell you the truth. Statistically, it very likely gets better than where you are right now if you're considering suicide. That's the most likely scenario, but it may not. It may not. The circumstances may not. And maybe not for a while. Guess what? You still have a purpose, and you need to decide to do the right thing, even if it doesn't get better. Because that's what good men have done since the beginning of time. Okay, I'm not going to lie. It always gets better. No, it can get worse. You say, the fear of the unknown is the fear of the unknown is the worst thing until the known is worse. I thought, how bad can it be? And I broke my femur. I was like, that's really bad. So just letting you know, I don't want to give you false hope, but I think purpose is what matters. And that's why young men are becoming more involved in the church and the faith. I'm sorry, right-wing extremists and a domestic terrorism threat. We are the threat, telling people that you have a purpose, that you are fearfully and wonderfully created. We are the threat saying that all life is sacred. We are the threat saying, hey, people, as long as they are not committing a crime, they are free to speak. We are the threat, and not the government making cold calls to pitch people on ending their life.
You're right about purpose. It can be simple, too. Just a simple everyday thing. Albert Einstein once said, the only life worth living, only a life lived for others is a life worthwhile.
Yes.
So if you go out there and live for others every day, you forget about, obviously not going to forget. You have depression, that's a chemical imbalance, or you have an illness and stuff. Yeah, I get it. But for a few seconds, you forget about it if you're helping somebody else out. It gives you purpose, even if you don't have a big purpose that you know about.
He also said, calm down, guys. I'm not that Jewish. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching this on YouTube? You've probably noticed something is missing by now. I'm not here. That's because the Live Daily Show is now streaming exclusively on Rumble weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. Tune in there, where nothing is censored.